Well, welcome to Qdabra's weekly webinar. This is Patrick Halstead, and I'm the technical PM here at Qdabra. Thank you for joining us today. I had just lost my audio, so I want to confirm one more time that you can hear me okay. And it looks like the audio, the video is working just fine. Thank you, Mark, for that confirmation. Really happy to have you here today. We have a short 20-25-minute webinar. We're talking again about FormsViewer. For those of you who don't know, FormsViewer is our future-proofing path for your InfoPath forms. We built this tool to migrate your forms to, and it comes with a bunch of additional features, better performance, and lower license fees. And we built this tool over the last 3 years, and it is a migration path for your InfoPath forms. You can continue using your InfoPath forms as is. We're the only place in town that has a pretty close to 100% conversion strategy. Today we're talking about a few percent of the what's missing right now. We're going to be, of course, improving FormsViewer over the next few months and years to make sure that it has every single missing feature that you would care about in InfoPath. Today I want to talk about the top 3 missing features in version 1.2. We just released version 1.2 last week, actually about a week and a half ago, and it corresponded with Microsoft's shutdown of the sandbox, and that's why we're talking about FormsViewer so much, because the first wave of deprecation or feature discontinuation from Microsoft is upon us, and that is if you have code in 365, your forms no longer work. Now that's not true for every single site right now, but there is a wave that's happening, and it started last week, and we've seen about half of our customers have forms that don't work. And the easy solution is just to move to FormsViewer, and we've done that with our customers. It's a pretty painless process. There are 3 things that catch people a lot, and one of them is combo boxes, multi-select list boxes, the second, and then repeating data source elements with siblings. So we're going to talk about workarounds for those today. That's really what I'm here to talk about and show you. And let me just show you FormsViewer. So FormsViewer installs to a site, and then on that site you have an app called FormsViewer, and then you click on the app and you click on Manage Templates, and you get to this screen, and this is our test site. So you can see I've got a lot of templates. Testers are going crazy. They need to be better about naming their forms. Once again, if you just show you how to get there. So once you install the FormsViewer app, it's on your site, and you just go to the site contents, and you'll scroll down to the app. And in this case, I'm using the dev instance. We're going to probably release this. We've got a few minor fixes with 1.2, and we may release this again next week, but nothing really critical at this stage. And then you click on Manage Templates, and that's going to take us to that page that we were just on. Now what I've done here for the webinar demo is I've prepared 2 different forms, and let me just show you what those forms look like in InfoPath. So the first one is going to be this simple form that says what's missing. And you can see this is the InfoPath Designer. So the way FormsViewer works today is it uses the InfoPath Designer. It basically displays your forms and allows you to edit them in SharePoint without InfoPath form services. But you're still using the designer to create those forms, right? Or you're using your existing XSNs if you have them already. So here I am in the designer, and you can see I've got a form that has a combo box, I've got a multi-select list box, and I have a very strange structure here where I've incorrectly created a data source with a sibling field here below a repeating group, and that's bad practice. The reason why is because you could have multiple repeating groups here. You could have lots and lots of intervening groups, and there's no way to tell where to insert, basically gets out of order. So you've got 2 or 3 of them, then InfoPath doesn't know where to it doesn't know where to get the sibling field A. And actually it's more of a limitation with FormsViewer than InfoPath, but we have a workaround. I'm going to show you that today. Another bad example here is this one. So same idea, sibling field B comes after a repeating field, and this, you could have 1, you could have 20, and because we don't know how many there are, if you try to access sibling field B using like a command, like a rule, like one of our QRules commands, for example, to set the value or do something with it, we don't know where it is in the schema, in the data source, and so there's a problem with that. So the better approach here, and I'm going to talk about this more in a second, is to structure your data like you see down below, where it says good group A and good group B, and you can see the difference here. This repeating group is underneath a non-repeating parent, and there's nothing after it, and so it's completely explicit where sibling field A2 is, right? And the same is true down here. We put the repeating field inside of a group, so there's no problem accessing sibling field B1. And I'll talk more about this in a second. So this is a pretty simple form showing these 3 different issues. I'm going to go to FormsViewer, Manage Templates, and I'm going to click on Diagnostics. So I've uploaded my form. Now, uploading your form in FormsViewer is just so simple. It's just ridiculously simple. You don't have to do the song and dance of the lengthy info path quick publish command, right? So you just basically take your form here, and in this case it's my issue form, and you just drag and drop it here, and you click upload. That's it. That's how simple it is to upload a form to FormsViewer. So let's go back to that form now, and let's take a look at the diagnostics. This form, FormsViewer comes with the diagnostics tool that allows you to quickly see if you've got issues with your form. The first tab gives you a quick rundown of your form. This one's pretty simple, just 22 schema elements, just 1 data connection, 1 view, no code in the form, therefore no QRules, no promoted properties, and if we go to migration analysis, you can see the 3 top issues that we're talking about today. And this is dynamic, so it automatically detected that I have a multi-select list box, combo box, and the form's main data source contains repeating elements with siblings, right, which can cause data corruption and other issues. Okay, so those are the 3 issues we're working around today, and that's how you tell if you have those issues. You upload your form to FormsViewer, you go to Diagnostics, and you'll see the issues. Okay, let's go back to Manage Templates, and let's see what this looks like in the, let's actually see what the issues look like. Okay, so we're going to open the form. Now, of course, you'd open it from your library, but I'm just going to open it from the Manage Templates screen because it's easier. Now, this form you can see here, right off the bat, it says, hey, combo boxes aren't supported, multiple select list boxes aren't supported. And if I add in some data here, apple, banana, obviously we support repeating fields, but this is a repeating section on the bad group, remember? And we'll, let's have some blueberries. Let's have the Danish for breakfast here. Hello, world. Okay, so we're going to submit this form out, and this form is submitting to a form library. And what I want to show you, though, is that if I download, let me just hit refresh here. If I download this this form that I just submitted, which I'm calling issue.xml, if I download it to my local machine and try to preview it in InfoPath, you're going to see there's a schema error. And that's because of that 3rd issue. So let me save this to my my local folder here, which I'm going to package up for you. We have to apologize. I have not done a good job of sending webinar packages the last week or 2. I need to do that. I am going to do it if you fill out the survey, and I'm sorry about the delay on that. So we're just going to overwrite this, and I'm going to open up the issue template again, and I have actually configured this to open that XML in preview. And the way you do that is in the designer, you can go to Form Options, Preview, and you can see that I've got this this file configured to open the issue XML. Now, if I try to do this, you'll see that the issue with the repeating data is opening in the other window here. Give me 1 second. Well, you can see the error there. The selected file does not match the current form, and you can see here it's because of the validation error in the schema, right? Bad group A. So this is the error that you'll get if you try to open a form that was modified in FormsViewer with these badly designed data sources. Now, what's interesting is the form will still open in FormsViewer, but your XML data is not well structured. So we need to fix that. and I'm going to talk about that in a second. First of all, any questions on the issues? Those are the issues. I'm going to switch back to my slide deck for a second and talk about these issues. Actually, I guess that's it. I don't have a lot of slides today, but I'm going to show you how I solved the issues. If you've got questions, please add them, and we'll take them as they come in here. So let's take a look at the solution form. So here's the form I've designed to work around those three issues. And you can see it's very similar in terms of its layout. Combo box. Now instead of using the SOC combo box, what we're doing here, and you can see I've added some text. We also have some documents that walk you through this. That'll be part of the package. Instead what I've done is I've converted the combo box into a drop-down plus a text box. And what's interesting here is they're both bound to the same field. Drop-down box here, which is probably not the best name for it. And you can see it should be like field 1 or something, right? So what am I doing? Well, if they select, let me just show you this in the browser. Go back to Manage Templates. And I've uploaded the solution part. So if I click on Diagnostics for the solution file, you'll see that on the Migration Analysis tab, we are good to go. So that means I basically fixed my issues, right? So let me go back to the Manage Templates tab. I'm going to actually open this one up, and we're going to see how it looks. And then I'll show you how I did it. And here we are with the workarounds. And let me get rid of this little thing here down below. Okay, so you can see here that I've got the combo box here is converted into a drop-down with this option of Other at the bottom. If I click Other, then I can type in. So really the whole purpose of a combo box is to allow you to either type or select. Some other day. Okay. Now I can switch back to the drop-down by hitting the toggle. And you'd probably want to name this toggle button something else. Okay, so that's how it works. That's pretty easy, right? So that's a really easy workaround for combo box. For a multi-select list box, we have two workarounds. One is to put the drop-down in a repeating section like you see here. And of course we could make it unique. Right now it ought to be unique because typically with these multi-selects you're not going to be selecting the same item over and over again. But that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is with checkboxes. And right here I've shown you the first technique. And then down below here I can add some data, funky data. Let's see here, eggs, bacon. I'm getting hungry. Okay, we got breakfast. Breakfast in Seattle is coming soon. And what do you need with breakfast? You need coffee. Oh yeah, that's right. Can't forget about that. And okay, let's just leave that the way it is. Now I'm submitting this to the same form library here, and notice that if I refresh this guy, you'll see that solution XML there. And I'm going to download this to my desktop and show you how this opens in InfoPath again. Because you know the nice thing about FormsViewer is if you work around this second issue, this third issue, your forms will open in InfoPath, they'll open in FormsViewer, no problem, right? And that's a benefit, is you don't actually, you can use both. If you're still using InfoPath Filler, you can use that. If you want to use the browser for your external customers, you can do that. And you won't have to pay the fees for E3, 365, because they can access FormsViewer without a license. Now, let me go back to my designer. I'm going to show you how that form opens. I've done the same thing with the workarounds. I've actually gone in here to my preview options, and I've set it to open up that solutions file. Now, because of the way I've got this working here, I'm not using the bad group anymore. I'm using the good group. So if you look at the schema is essentially the same, and the reason for that is when you're changing your form, if you do have this bad group and you're changing your form, you need to obviously change the structure to look like this. So the bad group has been changed, and you can see that that I've changed it to be explicit with my repeating. And you can ignore this other stuff. I'm not sure why we added a good group A and B below. I guess we're not using those. But let's open that file that we just submitted, and let's see if it works with the new data source design. And so once again, it's just a preview, and it's opening on the other machine, but you can see here, if I drag it over, hello world, we've got that bacon and eggs that I've typed in a minute ago, and it opened just fine. There was no validation error. So that just proves to you that forms created in FormsViewer opened just fine in InfoPath filler or in InfoPath, of course, Form Services if you still want to use that. If you don't have code, you can still use that. So let's see, how did we do this? So back to those techniques then. So I've got, like I said, I've got a drop-down and a text box that are both bound to the same field, and then I have an attribute underneath it. So what you do is you just go into your field that you have and for your combo box, and you just add an attribute. So if you add a field to a field, it's going to automatically select attribute, field attribute, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to add a couple rules. So here you can see I'm hiding the drop-down if the other is equal to 1. Okay, so I've got that other attribute set to 1 if I want to use the text box, and vice versa, if the other is not equal to 1, I hide the text box. So two controls, they're both bound to the same data source field. That's why you see that little blue thing there. And I'm just using simple formatting rules to hide and show the controls based on whether other is selected or not. So that's very simple. That's how you do the combo box. Like I said with the multi-select list box, we've converted this into a repeating section with a drop-down. And you don't have to change the data source. You just basically change the control. That's very easy to do. And then down below, what we're doing with this is we've actually made this data source explicit so that there's no field after the repeating element. And that allows us to add to it without any problems with the schema. Okay, that's pretty much it for the quick demo. I've got a few more things to say, but if you've got questions, now's a great time to start asking them. So just once again, we have added about 45 different QRules commands to FormsViewer. And we do all kinds of things like copying rich text and transforming data from one place to another. So it's more than just InfoPath, right? If you need input parameters, if you need insert on a button, if you need world hunger solved in a button click, we've got it. Actually, I wish we had that one, but anyway, we've got a lot of stuff in there that's not just, it's InfoPath plus QRules, and that QRules is more than just alpha. I mean, it's quite a lot of stuff now. And like I said, today I talked about these key workarounds for these 3 issues that we see a lot of. A couple other limitations, obviously FormsViewer is browser only, but like I said, it works with filler, so if the data that's created can be used in the filler. You have to have SharePoint, but on-prem works. We have on-prem working for several customers now. Required fields, like I said earlier, the validation, the bad XML is generated with the bad data source will still open in FormsViewer. So we're not actually doing that validation that we need to do on load. We are going to add that in the future. That's a key feature in InfoPath, and that's why the required fields is also in the same boat there. It's a validation issue. So those that data will be, that validation will be added in the near future. Right now, the way to work around that is to make your data source explicit, which is a best practice anyway. We do work with UDCX files, but if you have a connection to, for example, an external web service, and you're using Secure Store to do it, then you need to use the DBXL, the FormsViewer has a credentials wizard that comes with it that you can use to manage your credentials, and so you just go in there just like you would with SSO. It's actually easier than UDCX because with UDCX you have to go into Secure Store and you have to change it, and it's the same idea with FormsViewer. It's just a little bit easier to do. So that's pretty much it for the demo, and to turn it over to you if you have questions. I want to thank you for being here today. We try to do these every week. Next week, I don't know, we're probably going to return to just stock SharePoint InfoPath webinars next week. We've done like 3 or 4 weeks now of FormsViewer. We're probably going to come back to non-FormsViewer related topics, and if you've got any suggestions for what you want to see next week, please let us know. We're here for you, and if we can help you in any way with your SharePoint forms, your SharePoint site, whatever. We do a lot of stuff. We do K2, we do RW, we do all the forms out there. We still think InfoPath is a great tool to use. In fact, if you were watching Laura Rogers' webinar from August 11th on YouTube, she's still talking about InfoPath too. Everyone's still doing InfoPath. Microsoft does not have a viable alternative. Power Apps isn't quite there yet. even though Microsoft hyped it in May, it's not really done. In fact, behind the scenes, they told us wait until December. So in the meantime, you've got FormsViewer and InfoPath, and InfoPath and FormsViewer are a great combination for you moving forward. And that's it for the demo and the webinar. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm on vacation today and tomorrow. I'll see you back here next week, or we'll have somebody else presenting. Thanks so much. Have a great one.